Corporation. I am Amy Galhausen, President of the Board of Directors and current Executive Director for the Chamber. At this time, and I know my board just got their food, but I'm going to introduce them, and if you guys could please stand up. I know some of you are scattered throughout the room, but our Board of Directors, Mark Stezik, Lincoln Amphitheater, Jamie Poond, Southeast Dubois County Schools, Rachel Kleesner, OFS, Mackenzie Beaning, German American Bank, Neil Elkins, Office of Community Rural Affairs, Paul Wall, retired from Kimball, Evelyn Rivas, Ivy Tech, Dave Ring with Ring Farms, and Andrea Peters for Family Roots Nursery. Thanks, guys, for all the help for today. Before we get started, first and foremost, I would like to thank our sponsors for today's event. All of their generous donations have made this possible today. Our gold sponsors are Brunette and Associates, Dubois County Republicans, Universal Design, German American Bank, Springs Valley Bank and Trust, Ferdinand Community Center, and Far Best Foods. Our blue sponsors for today are Freedom Bank, Matrix Integration, Memorial Hospital, and Touch of Class. And then our silver sponsors for today are Kirstein's Homes, Jasper Group, Hof Equipment, and Kimball Electronics. I would also like to specifically give a very special thank you to Ferdinand Community Center and Ferdinand Processing for the event space today and the wonderful meal. So let's thank all of our sponsors, please. We have a pretty packed agenda today, so I'm going to get through this pretty quickly. On behalf of myself and the rest of the board, I would like to welcome all of you here today and thank you for your continued support of the Dubois County Chamber. Our ongoing mission is to serve businesses of all sizes in Dubois County by providing leadership and member-to-member collaborative opportunities to foster growth and profitability. The Chamber serves as the eyes, ears, and voice of our members by attending city and county meetings and sitting on various county-wide committees and boards. We strive to be involved with important issues and business needs in our county. While we seem to sometimes focus on fostering growth of new businesses, we never want to overlook the talent and leadership that already exist in Dubois County. One of the things we are most proud of as a chamber is having this platform to be able to recognize some outstanding leaders in our community. This year, we had a record number of nominations come in for our awards. Thank you so much to everybody that took time to nominate all of these wonderful individuals. Based on the information provided in the nominations, we narrowed each list down to a few finalists in each category. As I introduce each finalist, I will give you just a small snippet of information that was included in the nominations that we received. And then once I announce the winner, if you would please come to stage for a picture. The first group of finalists I would like to introduce is for the award of the 2023 Dubois County Young Professional of the Year. Our first finalist is Dennis Tedrow. Dennis currently serves as the admissions counselor at VUJC. While at VUJC, he has been a vital part of increasing the diversity of the student population. Dennis is a graduate of the Dubois County Leadership Academy and donates his time to several local civic organizations such as the Rotary Club of Dubois County and SWICAC. Dennis serves as a board member for SERS and the advisory board for Life Springs. He sits on the Local Economies Committee for the Hope Enduring Legacy program in Jasper and is a part of the IU Sustaining Hoosier Committee's initiative through Alassie. Our next finalist is Jonathan Macias. Jonathan is the current HR safety coordinator at OFS. He helps guide and direct the large Hispanic workforce at OFS and supports all of their diversity efforts, helping eliminate communication barriers to ensure that all employees feel like a part of the overall workforce family. Since immigrating from Mexico at a young age, Jonathan has donated a lot of his time helping pave the way to a better life for the growing Hispanic population in our community. Jonathan serves on the board of the Latino Collaboration Table and plays a very active role with the Lassie in all their events and endeavors. Our third finalist is Cassie Williams. Cassie currently serves as the principal of Cedar Crest Intermediate School. Cassie has revitalized the school's parent-teacher group in order to increase parent engagement and better involve parents in their students' education. She has been integral in helping families engage in the school system and helping families connect outside of the classroom. Cassie founded Community Chew, the local nonprofit organization that serves food-insecure students and families throughout all of Dubois County. While serving as program director, she has helped secure funding and trained volunteers to ensure the longevity of the program. Through her vision, this organization continues to have a positive impact on many families in Dubois County. Our last finalist is Greg Gogol. Greg is the principal of Southridge High School. Not only is he very involved with the students and staff at Southridge, he also spends a great deal of time working with local employers about their workforce needs and finds ways to implement them into school as an option for students that may want to take a route other than college. He has also implemented an after-school program for boys in middle school that may not have someone to go home to at the end of the day. He spends his time helping them with homework, exercising, or just talking through problems they may have. He is always communicating and offering positive support to all students. The winner of the 2023 Dubois County Young Professional Award is Cassie Williams. Cassie, could you please come to the stage? Moving on, our next category is the 2023 Dubois County Business Person of the Year. Our first finalist is Gary Schnell. Gary is a realtor for Sell for Free Welsh Realty in Jasper. Gary is a very experienced networking professional. He is endlessly devoting his time to many organizations within the county. Gary is a member of the Rotary Club of Dubois County. He serves on the Athena Leadership Award Committee, Strawson Fest Committee, the IU Economic Outlook Committee, and is the lead member of the Rotary Skeet Shoot. Gary is a community meals volunteer, not only serving meals, but helping organize other community leaders to help bring food abundance to those served by the organization. Gary is an active member of the Dubois County Builders Association and St. Joseph's Church. Our second finalist for Dubois County Business Person of the Year is Ed Cole. Ed currently serves as the president of Dubois Strong. While in this role at Dubois Strong, he has increased the Dubois County workforce population via the Dubois County Relocation Impact Grant Project. He created the Dubois County Child Care Task Force, the Agricultural Summit, and the Dubois Strong Enterprise Loan Fund, which provides funds to new and existing small business entrepreneurs. Since Ed has been leading Dubois Strong, their private investment numbers have hit a record high in recent years. In addition to his role at Dubois Strong, Ed has worked with WJTS to create the Tour of Opportunity, which annually gives over 500 high school freshmen a first-hand exploration at job opportunities in Dubois County. Ed is a member of the VU Workforce Development Advisory Board, the Rotary Club of Dubois County, and the annual Economic Forecast Luncheon Committee. Our third and final finalist is Bill Potter. Bill is the general manager of DC Broadcasting. For many years, Bill has devoted his time to covering all things Dubois County. One of his flagship programs is Local People Watching Local People. This is his way of helping Dubois County residents keep up with everything that is happening in our community. Bill mentors young reporters and supports them as they report on local events. He not only provides a forum for broadcasting community happenings, He is an active member of the community. He donates his time at the Dubois County Solid Waste Conservation District Invasive Species Awareness Days and stream cleanup events. He also serves as Master of Ceremonies for many events, such as the Ferdinand Folk Fest. The winner of the 2023 Dubois County Business Person of the Year is Mr. Ed Cole. Our final award of the day is for 2023 Dubois County Business of the Year. Our first finalist is Far Best Foods. As one of Dubois County's largest employers, Far Best Foods has been a major supporter of the Indiana Main Street program and the community events they organize, such as Fourth Fridays, the Farmers Table, and Huntingburg Farmers Market. They are currently working with the City of Huntingburg to design and develop a youth baseball and softball complex at the city park. Far Best was one of the initial investors in the Stellar Communities project, specifically the Far Best Food Commons in Market Street Park. Most recently, Far Best has funded the development and construction of the J. Houchins Memorial Plaza, which brings new indoor restrooms and an outdoor fire pit area to the park. Our second finalist is Universal Design Associates. Universal Design is a Dubois County leader in building design, engineering, interior design, and construction delivery. They have recently completed a massive expansion project to their offices located in Ferdinand. They always work closely with other Dubois County businesses to bring their projects to fruition. Universal Design's footprint can be seen anywhere you go across Dubois County, from libraries to governmental offices, financial institutions, educational facilities, healthcare facilities, and hospitality buildings. Their craftsmanship and attention to detail in all their projects across Dubois County is unmatched. Our third finalist for Dubois County Business of the Year is the Dubois County Bombers. The Bombers are now under new ownership with owners Justin and Aaron Knapp, who have local ties to Dubois County. They remain committed to creating a unique experience for local fans, in addition to those fans that come from all over the country to watch the team play. The team has always found ways to give back to the community through donations of all types. This year, there will be all new Major League quality seats, an expanded and renovated gift shop with all new merchandise, a new stadium wine bar, a kids candy bar, and a new kids club. With all of the changes taking place, the Bombers have deepened their investment into the local team, the stadium, and the Dubois County community. The 2023 Dubois County Business of the Year Award goes to Far Best Foods. At this time, it is my pleasure to, first of all, can we give another round for all of our finalists and award winners? At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker, Chris Tretter. Chris was born in Huntingburg and is a graduate of Forest Park High School. In his teen years, he spent his time working on local farms and delivering newspapers. After graduating with distinction from Purdue with a degree in electrical and computer engineering, Chris went to work for GTE Wireless, which is now Verizon. He became the youngest executive director in the organization's history. Chris went on to earn his master's degree in information and communication sciences, and soon after he was recruited to work in Silicon Valley. He was hired as Vice President General Manager for Crown Castle and retired as the president in 2011. Chris has attended many high-level leadership schools and has always been very entrepreneurial. He has previously owned a car wash and a real estate investment company. Since coming back to work in Dubois County, Chris has had ownership roles in Access Storage and most recently Sultan's Run. Chris is currently a co-owner at Sultan's and leads his team daily as the general manager. Chris has always had a focus on community, especially youth sports. He has been a board member for Dubois Strong, a finance committee member for the Dubois County Community Foundation, a board member for Visit Dubois County, and chairman of First Tee, where he is currently a Level 1 certified coach. Chris's style has always been one of positive leadership and inclusion. He is very passionate and driven and loves working with others to help them achieve their goals. Chris married his high school sweetheart, Dawn, in 1991, and they have 3 grown children, Devin, Garrison, and Brant, and his first grandchild is due in July. There's a lot more I could tell you about Chris and all of his contributions to Dubois County, but at this time, I am going to leave the rest for him. So please help me give a warm welcome for Chris Trett.
Thank you. Well, I asked Amy the other day when we were setting up, she said, you know, we'll have over 300 people here. I said, are they aware I'm speaking? But I thank all of you for being here today, and I truly appreciate the warm welcome. I don't know, Dawn, let me get my technology right here. Dawn, when she started to say all that, did you get as tired as I did? We've done a lot in 31 and a half years, and we've been together a lot longer than that, so she knows me extremely well. But again, I'm very grateful to be here today. I want to thank the board for the opportunity. I want to thank all of you for being here. You know, Dawn and I have been married 31 and a half years. Garrison is here with us today as well. My financial advisor and friend and co-owner of Sultan's Run, Dan Burnett, is here, and he brought 2 tables of guests as well. Welcome today. Thanks for coming all the way from Carmel to join us. I have some of our staff here from Sultan's Run as well. Very pleased to have them. You'll hear a little bit about people and good people and how they tie into success out at Sultan's Run. And also in the room today are people that have been part of my village for my entire life. And I'm thankful you're here. You know, I have friends all across the United States, and especially a bunch of them here in Dubois, Spencer, Pike, Perry County, all of the surrounding area. So when Amy called me, I think it was 2.5 months ago, and said, "Are you interested?" I paused and I said, "Yeah, I'm interested," but then I got to thinking, well, why me? Why should I come? And I thought, you know what, it's a great opportunity to share experiences that can make you better leaders, better citizens in our communities. So hopefully today you can take away at least one nugget as I share the experiences that I've had. The first thing I'd like to do is talk just briefly about Sultan's Run. I've been there 3.5 years now, and I can't tell you the number of people from the area that have come to me and said, you know, Chris, it's beautiful up here. I've never been up here. Folks, we're a public entertainment space, so feel free to come on up there, check us out. You know, we're not just a premium golf course. We are a banquet center. We do events. We're hosting an event tonight for somebody that's here. We look forward to doing that. We have an executive chef on staff. And if you've paid attention in the media, we have more that we're going to do to bring more entertainment options to the community in the coming years. So keep track of that. A good presenter will tell you what they're going to tell you. They'll tell you, and then they'll tell you what they just told you. So I'm going to tell you right now what I'm going to tell you, okay? I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey. And I want to preface this. I didn't have it as bad as some people, but I did have some rough spots in my life. I think that context is important because it shows that I am a victor, not a victim. Okay? So some of it may be hard to hear, but just bear with me. It's important for you to hear as I build it up to all of the other interesting insights that I'll share. Then I'm going to share the difference between significance and success. And I'll have a little bit of help doing that with Dr. David Cook, for any of you that have heard his name before. And then I'll share some lessons for leaders. This is wisdom that I've gained over the years. So we'll go ahead and jump in here. As Amy said in the opening, you know, my education is in engineering. My corporate work history is in wireless communication and real estate. The top two companies that you see on the left-hand side there were extremely high growth. And that is what led to the number of relocations that we did. You'll hear a little bit more about that in a few minutes. I was capable and willing, and together we made it possible. So the opportunities opened up, all the doors were open. I began my career designing and optimizing the cellular network in the state of Indiana. I held roles leading the implementation of new technologies, integrating mergers and acquisitions, leading a team who constructed and operated one of the largest cellular networks in the United States, leading the design and maintenance of 20,000 communication towers across the United States and Puerto Rico, and finally leading the West operating area for Crown Castle before leaving corporate America and focusing on small business. As Amy noted, I also had involvement in some other small ventures. Along the way, I've had the blessing of working with some great PhDs and some other leadership training organizations. The gentleman on the left up there is Dr. Paul Stoltz. He has an organization called Peak Learning, and he teaches about the adversity quotient. I'm sure none of you in the audience here deal with any kind of adversity. We do every day, right? Dr. David Cook is the gentleman on the right. He is a very famous sports psychologist. I have a video clip from him that I'll play here in a little bit. And he's also written a book and has a movie out. We're going to give away 10 of those books today. He's written more than one book, but we're going to give away 10 of those books today. Stop at Nothing, Center for Creative Leadership, and Disney Institute were all part of the leadership training that I received. So reading was also a big part of my development. I spent a lot of time on airplanes during certain parts of my career, or I would just take a little bit of time and read just for personal development. So that's a picture of 3 of my bookshelves from home. On there, you'll see a lot of personal development or leadership development books. So, by a show of hands, how many of you here? Something happened? Okay, good. I don't know what that was. It wasn't me. Any readers in the room? Yeah, good. That's great. So, reading is an important part of personal development. And from my perspective, if you're not working on yourself, you're falling behind. So a good opportunity is to read. All right, so any Johnny Cash fans? A few? All right, I've been everywhere, man. So I'm going to read this, and you can start singing Johnny Cash, okay? I'm going to read this, but I won't do anything for Johnny Cash, okay? But hold on here. Huntingburg, Bloomington, Terre Haute, Bloomington, Ferdinand, West Lafayette, Indianapolis, Quad Cities, Indianapolis, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Chicago, San Francisco, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Phoenix, and Ferdinand. So if you kept track, that is 17 different relocations. I am 55. I'm not older than that. That's a relocation about every 3 years. So it's been quite the whirlwind. Obviously, there were some short ones in there. When you think about it, that's either a military family, that's corporate America, or it's government witness protection program, and you can figure out which one it is. There are some things that I do not like to do, and Amy, I don't think you mentioned this in your opening remarks. I am an introvert. Now, you can start laughing now. I'm an introvert, okay? So among the things that I do not like to do, I don't like working my hamstrings in the gym, but I do it. I know how important colonoscopies are. Doc, he's over there. But I don't like them. I know how important it is to go to the dentist, but I don't like it. I don't like going to funerals, and I do not like public speaking. But over the years, out of necessity, I have become accustomed to doing it. So everybody's life is a puzzle. And as I continue to share my puzzle, and in the coming days, you can think about your own puzzle. The blessings that you've been granted, the people that have been put into your life, the situations you've dealt with, the mistakes you've made, the positive contributions you've made. All of that background has prepared you for something. What are you being prepared for? And that was a question I had to ask at one point in my life. The other thing to keep in mind is not everybody has the same set of gifts. There are 3 greatest predictors of success. Does anybody know what one of them might be? This is audience participation here. Attitude, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. According to Dr. Cook, it's focus, it's passion, that's where attitude can come in, and it's mental toughness. And as I took inventory of my own gifts, I'm focused, and I have vision. I have passion. I'm tenacious, right, Dawn? Right, Garrison? Maybe, yeah. I have tremendous work ethic. I've been blessed with charisma and leadership. I'm comfortable with change. I can lead change. I've done it throughout my entire corporate life, and I've done a little bit in small business as well. I'm a builder and a fixer. I had to do that along the way. And I try to work on my mental toughness every day, because if there's one thing that I need to do better, it's that. Okay? So now we're going to get into a little bit of the point where I said I'm going to expose some things that I don't have it as bad as others. But this was floating around on social media a while back. And really, I think there's 3 choices. You can continue doing what you're doing, and that's great. You can take the red pill and restart your life with all of your wisdom right now. Or Amy can hand you $10 million in cash on the way out. Okay? So I'm going to tell you which of these is my choice, but I want to know how many of you would like to just continue doing what you're doing right now, and that's okay. Okay, good. There's some. How many of you want the red pill? Handful. Oh, we got a bunch of people that want that $10 million. How about the blue? Let's see it. Well, we have some more. Okay. And then some say, no, I want maybe a mix of that. Okay. My choice is the red pill, and here's why. I would know exactly how to adapt to everything that's been thrown at me from age 6 on. And I'm going to expose some things that I've never talked about, but like I said, this will show that there's opportunity even in the face of adversity. So in the mid-1970s, my hero at the time, my father, owned Bloomington South IGA. It was a brand new, very large, state-of-the-art grocery store on the south side of Bloomington. Unfortunately, several factors led to his substance abuse at that time, and that's when he fell. And at 10 years old, I watched my hero fall. So we lost the store, and we relocated back to Dubois County which was a blessing because of the values and the people that are here. So during the remainder of my childhood, I did everything I could to survive and advance and bury the pain that I felt at home at all times. So this little picture here, it was extremely hard on my brothers, my three brothers and me. I fully realize, as I said before, I didn't have it as bad as some, but as a result of what I went through, I have a soft spot for anyone who goes through any kind of abuse, anything at all. This is what has led to a lot of my community involvement, especially when it comes to coaching or helping kids. I'll give a shout out to anybody that is involved with youth. They certainly need our help. For the next 8 years, from 10 to 18, we went through mental and emotional hell in our household. There was tremendous embarrassment that came with being poor. We filed bankruptcy. I was teased about several things. I was teased about my clothes, about our car, about my gym bag that I used for basketball. I was teased for being a part of the newly formed gifted and talented program at school. I was even teased about my leadership and charisma. As you can imagine, the last place I wanted to be sitting on a Thursday night in my teen years was at Alateen. But in looking back, I needed to be there more than I embraced it. And I'm thankful that that program is available for our kids these days. I began to self-sabotage. I did everything I could to bury myself beneath the crowd. I did not want public recognition of any kind. As an example, I was a very good speller, but I purposefully missed a word in the spelling bee to make sure that our family name was not in the local paper. I stopped focusing on my grades. I dropped out of the gifted and talented program. I got a threatening letter from Purdue telling me if I didn't pick up my grades, they would rescind my acceptance. I quit the basketball team. I drank heavily on the weekends. I put my pain back onto others too. So in summary, it was not pretty. So this story and the above graphic paints one picture, but let's think about the village. And by the way, before I forget, I want to give a huge congratulations to my father. He can't be here today because he's sick dealing with a common illness. But he turned 80 this past September, and he's been sober for 37 years. So congratulations to him. Living in Dubois County with the values of the community was certainly a blessing. That's the reason Dawn and I moved back here. That's why we wanted to raise our family here. The curse, of course, as you all well know, is everybody knows everybody else's business, but it's two-sided because they can help as well. Expanding on those blessings, I had a great village around me. Some of you are here today. My mother, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, coaches, parents of my friends, my neighbors, my teachers, my bosses. The list goes on and on and on. I see it as God knew exactly what I needed, and he put me with them. So thank God we moved back to Dubois County. And God bless my mother. She also can't be here because she's dealing with a common illness, but she did her absolute best to raise us during those hard times. And thank you to our village for helping out as possible. Clearly God was preparing me for more. We'll get into more of that here in a few minutes. But what did I gain from all of that adversity? Tenacity. I also earned the ability to adapt and change, so change became pretty common for me. While some people do not like change or criticize leaders of change, as I said earlier, I can make change, and I'm comfortable with it as well. The one thing that I'm most grateful for that I received from my village and from my parents is my faith in God and belief in Jesus. John 16:33 says, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And that's helped get me through a lot of things. It helped me get me through when I was younger, even though I didn't know it. So I'm going to wrap up this segment I appreciate your indulgence as I walk through that. I think the important takeaway here is you never know what somebody might be going through. But be supportive. Someone needs you. I needed people. Be a part of their village. Your puzzle is your puzzle for a reason. What are you being prepared for? And importantly, opportunity knocks even in the face of significant adversity. And we're going to move on to the third segment here out of 3. And we're going to talk about significance versus success. There was a point in my life that I realized that despite everything I had, I was 37 years old, I had great faith, I had a wonderful family and still do, wonderful friends all across the United States. We had wealth, status. Something was missing. There was an emptiness that I was feeling, but what was it? I did a lot of praying, a lot of reading books, a lot of talking with people, and I figured it out. And I'm going to show a video clip here by Dr. Cook that will help us sort it out even further.
First chapter here, first line of the book. How can a game have such an effect on a man's soul? That was the first line that came to me as I sat there on the front porch thinking about this movie and, this book and what was to come. It was a question that haunted me because as a sports psychologist, I had worked to help people become the best they could be in the world. I got to have the privilege of working with national champions and PGA Tour champions and world champions with the San Antonio Spurs. And I began to notice as I worked with these folks that success really never did fulfill. It never did bring everything that everybody thought it would. And I began to wonder why. How can a game have such an effect on a man's soul? And how can a game not fulfill, not satisfy, or not bring security? How can all the things that we pursue in life and all the trophies, whatever it might be in business or whatever the competitions that we get involved with as men and women, why do they not fulfill and why are they not so satisfied? And I just believe that it's because we got in the wrong game somewhere along the way. One of my students at the University of Kansas when I was up there wrote a master's thesis that actually began to tell us the truth to why we feel this way and where it comes from. Where does it emanate from, these feelings of unfulfillment in what we do? He took 386 Little League kids from the best Little League program in Kansas City, and he asked these kids 3 questions. Who on this team, there were 12 kids per team, who on this team would you most like to play catch with? Write their name in the blank. Who on this team would you most like to be friends with? Write their name in the blank. Who on this team would you like to have come spend the weekend with you and your family if you got to take somebody on vacation with you? Write their name in the blank. And then he asked the coaches to rank these young kids by pure athletic ability, by batting average, and then we also looked at a sociological sort of scale of what position they actually played in the field. We threw the first few questions in the computer. We were looking for correlations. And what we found was stunning. Of all the theses that I chaired in my lifetime as a professor, the most highly correlated results came out of the study. Who was the kid that they wanted to be friends with? That's right, the best player. Who was the kid that they wanted to be friends with? The best player. Who was the kid they wanted to have come spend the weekend with them and their family? Yes, it was the best player. And what we found out through this study is this. That if you're good at something, if you are better than another person at something, if you were proficient at something, it means, as a young person in this country, you are worth more, you are accepted more, you are more highly valued. And therefore, early in life, we get this cultural mandate going that if I'm good at something, I'm worth something. If I'm great at something, I'm worth more. And then we get on this treadmill as we pursue life that says, if I can really improve and get great at this, I'm going to have all the adulation, acceptance, and never fulfills. Ravi Zacharias, one of the great evangelists in our country, says this: the loneliest moment in life is when you achieve the ultimate and it lets you down. A pro football player said this one time. He said, I would give anything, even my wedding ring, for a world championship ring. There was a casino ad on the way out of Dallas with a lady popping out of all these gold coins. There's like 100,000 coins, and she's just coming out. She's got this smile on her face, and just like she won the jackpot, and this is like, life is great. And the caption underneath it says it all. The only thing better is winning again. When we won our first world championship with the Spurs, I remember coming into the training room after the season, right before the next season, at our first player meeting. The coaches got there first, and I went over and asked one of the coaches, I said, it was a defining moment of his life. It was one of the older coaches, and he had been around, and this was the first time, that he had a major championship, and he got this ring. I said, was that the most fulfilling thing that ever happened in your life? And right out of his mouth, he says, well, no, I haven't had time to think about it, because we've been trying to figure out how to repeat. I went to the youngest coach that was 27 years old at that time, and he had been a gym rat, a ball boy before that, and then he had been a basketball player, and he had finally caught on with the Spurs this particular year. It was his first coaching job in the NBA, and he now has a ring. And I said, was this the most fulfilling thing that ever happened in your life? He kind of looked around and said, that's an amazing question you're asking. He said, because I spent the summer thinking about that. He said, I watched the end of the game where Avery made a shot from 17 feet from the corner where he hadn't made it all year from, and to win the game. And I said, I wasn't so enamored by that, but as we won the game, I was watching as everybody went crazy, and all of the exuberation and celebration was going on. But the camera hit me, and I was standing there with nobody to hug, looking out there with a blank stare on my face. And I know exactly what I was thinking. Is this what it's all about? Is this it? No. It wasn't the most fulfilling thing in my life. William Henderson, after they won the Super Bowl one year, said this: it didn't hit me until after we beat the Patriots. Gilbert Brown and I sat on the steps of the podium. It was after the noise had died down and everyone was pretty much gone. It was dead quiet. At the same time, we both said, what do we do now? We were champions of the world, and we sat there trying to figure out what our next mission was, and we didn't know what to do. Mike Singletary, a classmate of mine at Baylor University, after they won the Super Bowl in 1985 with Chicago, he said this: I was very frustrated. I was very angry. I was almost depressed after the Super Bowl because I was trying to figure out why I wasn't happy. Ecclesiastes, many years ago, gave us this: the richest man that ever lived, past, present, or future, Solomon. He says this: I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my work, and this was the reward for all my labor. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless. Chasing after the wind, nothing was gained under the sun. I was speaking at the Virginia governor's prayer breakfast once, and there was an admiral sitting next to me, and after I spoke, he got up and did the prayer. He prayed, he was reading this thing, and when this thing was over with, he looked at me and he said, I'm a retired admiral, and my whole life has been chasing after the wind. Completely on empty, at the pinnacle of his life. Nothing seemed to fulfill. Bob Buford wrote a book called Halftime, and it really touched many of us, and basically said what happens with men is the first half of their life they really are pursuing success, and then they find out that this treadmill just wears them out, and then the second half of their life they come out and they begin to think about pursuing significance and where that might come from. Success, you see as a short-term destination. Significance is about an eternal call.
Okay, let me get back into the presentation here. So I think what we heard there in summary is that success never fulfills. It's short term, significance does. So the real opportunity there is to get involved and to make a difference. And in our award winners, the nominees today, you heard a lot of community engagement by the businesses and by the individuals. And congratulations and thank you for all of that. And there are people sitting throughout this room who are involved, but we need to encourage more and more involvement as we move forward. You know, join the board of a nonprofit you're passionate about. Coach a youth sport. Teach a religion class. Volunteer to help a local nonprofit. You know, some of us are blessed with different gifts. Mentioned that earlier. It may be time, it may be talent, it may be treasure. Figure out what you can give, but engage and make a difference. And by the way, as I move on here, there was a recent survey done that identified the jobs that provide the best significance. We have some of them here today, I'm sure. Teachers, number one, because they're changing lives every day. Nurses, of course, with the work that they do, and thank you, nurses, for what you do. Doctors, right there with them. Physical therapists and EMTs and firefighters. And I'm sure we could compile a very long list, but those were the top 4 that were identified in the survey. All right, down the home stretch here. Here comes lessons for leaders. So you see up here on the slide, wisdom. And wisdom is a combination of knowledge and experience. And those experiences can be positive or negative. Now, some of what I'll share here today will be the common sense statement. And you may even say, duh, Chris, that's one that we already know. But there are some really good ones in here. This is one that all of us can use a little more of, silence. So here's how this goes. I was at the Center for Creative Leadership out in San Diego, and I had a PhD, an Oriental man. He was assigned to me as my coach for the week. And we were sitting around in a session talking about what our tools are to help lead our team. And he said to me, Chris, what is your best tool? And I gave him the old, eyes rolling in the back of the head. I don't know. And I don't even remember what I said to him. I just remember his response. He said, silence! I thought of Mr. Miyagi. And he said, Chris, use silence with a question. So question followed by silence. And it's a very, very powerful tool. And I have numerous examples of how this can be used. A lot of stories. If you want to hear some of those, hit me up sometime. But this can be used for problem solving and buy-in. This can be used for interviews, and it should be used for interviews. It's also how you should conduct performance reviews. And it is also a very good tool for coaching and counseling. So, for anybody that's a manager or a coach or a parent or an administrator, what a great tool to use. Again, a question followed by silence. Sometimes we have to flip the script. Adversity strikes. We're working on some projects out at Sultan's Run right now, and it is the absolute hardest project I've ever been involved with in my life, and I've done some pretty significant stuff over the years. So life is hard. Every day we have adversity, but we have to know how to flip that script. Our minds are made to adapt. They are not made for perfection. So the mind is very powerful, as we all know. Here's how you flip the script. And I learned this from Dr. Stoltz when I was at Peak Learning out in California. It's a question. And he said, I know some say we can't, but if we could, how would we do it? I'll say that again. I know some say we can't, but if we could, how would we do it? What you're doing by asking that question is knocking down barriers. You're flipping your mind into a creative thinking mode. So, they say we can't do it, but if we could, how could we go about it? So start writing down and doing some brainstorming on how to get through things. That's one of the tools that I used when my family and I volunteered to move to the West area to transform it. We had 4 operating areas in Crown Castle. The West area was the worst performing. We had the worst employee satisfaction and the worst customer satisfaction in that organization. So I volunteered to go out and clean it up by using the adversity quotient and another tool. We turned that organization around in 3 years. We went from worst to first in employee satisfaction and in customer satisfaction. So again, a very powerful tool. Again, I know they say we can't, but if we could, how would we do it? The other tool that I used with the team when I got out there, really 2 things, but the first one was I asked them how we want to be known. As individuals and as a company, what's our legacy? What's our reputation? And they embraced that. The other piece that we used was getting them engaged, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. But this tool of asking how we want to be known is, again, a very powerful question that can be used to set vision, strategy, and guiding the organization. Here's one of those good people bring out the good in people. We know this in Dubois County, don't we? We absolutely do. Again, it's one of those common sense pieces, but this should be the core competency of your hiring practices. When I hire people, the first thing I look at is their character. Then I look at their skill sets. And as we're working through performance issues, we also assess, are they just in the wrong seat on the bus? They belong on the bus, but we need to find a new seat for them. So again, hire good people, surround yourself with good people. We've all seen scenarios where you see a group running with each other and you say, that's a good group there. Or you see somebody making a bad decision and hanging with the wrong group and you know, that may not turn out well. But if you want your people to drive success in your organization, hire people that will create a rewarding environment. Good people create that environment. They attract more good people. They make positive, lasting impressions on those they interact with. And again, we know that in Dubois County. NBC Universal just released their 2022 awards. Sultan's Run ranks number 23 in the nation out of 17,000 golf courses for staff friendliness. And that's a reflection not just on the people that we have at Sultan's Run, but it's a reflection on the entire county. So thank you to all of you for interacting with those tourists when they come to town and making such a lasting impression on them. We're coming down the stretch here. I've led organizations in small business and in large corporations. How many small business owners do we have in here today? All right, very good. Folks, it is extremely difficult to run a small business. It's hard to get the right support organization around you like it is in corporate America. But if you talk a little bit about locally owned businesses or small businesses, by a show of hands, how many locally owned businesses here? Locally owned, whether you're big, small, yep, good. Okay, these people are extremely critical to the fabric of our community. So, we need to get out and support those organizations. And I'm going to jump on a soapbox here for just a minute, if you'll allow me. I was sitting in church one day, and it was about Christmas time, and the pastor was talking about shopping habits, and he was doing a poll. And don't raise your hands, okay? He said, by a show of hands, how many of you are going to do all of your shopping online? And there were a bunch of hands that went up. And sitting in there as a small, locally owned business, I said, ouch. Ouch, 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 right? Because here's the soapbox moment. I know that some of those same people, and please, I'm not trying to offend anyone, those same people that raised their hand are going to come knocking on the local businesses' doors, asking for a donation to support their charitable cause, their charitable organization, or some kind of a fundraiser for somebody that's sick. We have to support our local businesses. So getting off the soapbox now, thanks for indulging me on that. Keep in mind, Dubois County is the economic engine for this region. We know that. We live it every day. We need to continue, Ed, the work that you and Dubois Strong and all the companies that have been helping. We need to grow this community. If we're not growing, we're dying, and we need vibrant activity in our community. And businesses, we know that we have a community responsibility. You heard, again, some of the contributions that are made, and you look around and you see business names on this park or this YMCA or this. All of this that happens is important. Businesses know we have to be engaged to help the local events, the charities, and even our schools, because we need vibrant schools as well. All right, one more tool here. As adversity comes at us, we can control what we can control, influence what we can influence, and manage or ignore the rest. And you see the little guy there, he's doing a pretty good job of ignoring what's going on next to him, I think. Write it down. Solving a problem, big problem comes up. Make a little sheet. What can we control? What can we influence? And what do we need to ignore or manage? I'm telling you, it's a powerful tool. Hopefully it's one that you can take away and help your organization. And while we're on the subject of control and influence, had a CEO say one time in a room, there were probably 50 leaders in it. He said, all of you take note, don't ever do anything that gets us negative press on the front of the Wall Street Journal. And he was right. Okay? Here's the important takeaway here. Guard your words and actions. And importantly, teach your employees, teach your organization how to guard your words and actions. I have stories. I'm not going to share them today because we don't have enough time. If you want to hear some of them, look me up. Again, you don't want bad stories, no offense to the press. You don't want bad stories on the front page. And anybody in here had media training, by the way, besides the media in the room? Okay? It's good to go through it because you learn pretty quickly. You're put under pressure and you learn how to guard your words and actions. At times, details matter. Garrison, this is not a picture of you, by the way. I don't think your hands look quite like that. At times, details matter. That's another good tool I mentioned that I used in the West area. When I arrived there, they said, so much is broken. I said, give me examples. So I had my team work with their direct reports and their direct reports down in the organization, and we created a list. And we went through every detail, and there again, we said, well, what can we control? What can we influence back at headquarters? And what did we know that we couldn't, and we were just going to manage or ignore it? Okay? So pay attention to where details matter. Pay attention where details don't matter. Now, one place that details matter, if your email address is 25 characters long, and I miss one character, that's 96% accurate, right? That's pretty good. That's an A at school. That email's not gonna make it through, okay? So some details matter, others don't. Do your best to manage through that. And finally, the biggest determinant or detractor of success is fear and mental toughness. It's the largest constraint and the largest determinant of achieving success. Fear is the underlying source of mental mistakes and meltdowns, anger, frustration, jealousy, envy, depression, oppression, hate, cheating, pride, and anything else that corrupts. On the bottom there, you see the word passion. Passion separates great from good. And specific goals will always move you further than do my best goals. So in summary, hopefully you have a golden nugget. I told you I would tell you what I told you, but I'll go quickly here. Everyone has a puzzle or a story. We do not know what others are going through or have gone through, so give them a break. Even in the face of significant adversity, opportunity exists. There is a difference between success and significance. You are being called to do something bigger. What is it? A question followed by silence is a very powerful tool. Train your team to convert the word can't into the word can. Surround yourself with good people. Hire first for character, then find the best skill set. Control what you can control, influence what you can influence, and manage the rest. Guard your words and actions. Details matter. Passion separates great from good. And finally, 2 things. Get involved. Be part of someone's village. Someone out there needs you. And lastly, support our local companies to keep our communities stable and vibrant. I thank you again for the opportunity to come in today. I hope you can take away at least one nugget that can help you to improve. Congratulations again to all the nominees and the award winners. Amy, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks so much, Chris. We are in the home stretch here. I do have something for you on behalf of the chamber for the time that you took being here today. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
The last thing we're going to do, Chris did bring 10 books with him that we're going to give away, so you guys all should have gotten a ticket when you came in. 3 of the books will go to our award winners today. So for the ones of you that got an award, we'll kick the lights up here in a little bit if you guys need another picture. I know it was a little dim in here when we were doing that. So 3 books will go to our award winners. So real quick, Chris, I'm going to have you draw 7 tickets out of here so that we can, and then we'll have you guys come up.
I can't get my hand in there.
Let me dump some out.
Can you read that?
You just can't read 7. Okay, the first one is 4450. 4450. Check your tickets. The second one, 4444. 4364. Okay. 4359. 3 more. 4336. 4355. And the last one, 4333. So if you guys, like I said, if our award winners will come up here and get your book, and compliments of Chris, so thank you so much for bringing those if you have a ticket. Guys, that's a wrap. 1 o'clock on the dot. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it.